Good evening. Good evening. Looking for my dear friend Michelle. She should be on here soon, and then I can welcome her into the room and we'll get started. Tonight we're going to be doing world predictions, zodiac predictions for 2023, and I've invited one of my dear friends, Michelle Marie from Astrological Tarot, and you can check her out. She's an amazing Vedic and Western astrologer who I found and followed here on TikTok, and we became good friends over the last little bit. And I've been joining her in her broadcasts over the last year and have loved working with her. So I invited her to do this with us. And I'm quite sure you'll like her too. She's a beautiful soul. So when she comes on, you'll all get to meet her. Hello, everyone, all my subscribers especially. Thank you very much. I have some awesome news for you. I'm going to be putting up a whole bunch of things that I've been doing on a Patreon account. And for those of folks that get to, for those folks who are interested, you can join us as a member and you'll have access to a whole bunch of things that I've been putting out, including learning the tarot. Okay, so that's a thing I do. I've been teaching the tarot for over 30 years and I've been doing it online for the last 5 years. So you're more than welcome to think about joining us to learn tarot, or you can do the Patreon and you'll get a little bits and snippets of things that I'll put on there. Gave me a good idea with what was TikTok doing regarding the subscriptions. And I so appreciate all of you who are and have been following me with those subscriptions. I look forward to it. I look forward to it every time I see someone who has joined. So thank you. It gave me the good idea to do this thing with Patreon. So, actually, someone else gave me the good idea, and I just finally decided it was the right time to do it. And that was for you, Andrew, because I know you gave me the good idea, my love. Anyway, the other thing that you might want to know about in terms of news is this. On January 21st, I believe it's January 21st. Oh my goodness, Tamara, I think it is. January 21st is when I'll be doing our first White-Wolf Coven on Zoom. Now, I'm going to broadcast it both on TikTok and on Zoom. But those people that are already joined and are on Zoom will also have a few different things initially. This will be my first broadcast like this. And the reason we're going to do this is because I don't like to be censored very much. And I'm sure a lot of you out there really don't like to be censored either. And here my girl comes. And so if we do this, the types of work that we do, if we do ritual and ceremony on Zoom, we won't get censored. So it'll be so much more fun, and we'll have a lot more experiences to enjoy. Hello, my friend.
Hello, I'm just trying to get my camera going here.
All right, you do that. I'll just finish up
Right.
sharing. I'll just finish up sharing this. So for those of you interested, the White-Wolf Coven will do its very first Zoom session. You can go to my website at tamareWhite-Wolf.com and go to the workshop area or to one of the blogs that say White-Wolf Coven, and there's a link there. And then you just go register, and then also you would go back and pay $5. That's all it is $5. And you can come, and it'll be a 1.5 to 2 hour gathering. And it'll start on January 21st. And then you'll see all the fun things that are going to be happening. We'll be teaching all kinds of witchy, wonderful things, sharing astrology, sharing tarot, sharing herbal information. You got it. We're going to share it. And I'll have guests and all kinds of fun things. So please, please consider joining the White-Wolf Coven online, TamaraWhite-Wolf.com. And don't forget to spell that. What's that?
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize I could hear you. Sorry.
That's all right. All right, can you get your face in there, my friend?
I'm working on it. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no trouble. No trouble. It just takes a few minutes. Thank you for the follows, everyone. Another thing you could do that's so helpful is to share the video, share this live, and also to tap the screen. Because I know if you tap the screen a whole bunch of times, you just sort of keep tapping. See how the hearts are coming up? I don't know. Can you see those hearts? It says Spirit Talk sent you guys a bunch of likes. This is a bunch of love and likes that I'm sending to you. And if you do that, it does push it into the algorithm and we get a whole bunch more people joining in. And since this is going to be a really, oh my God, she got on. Hi.
Hey, sorry, it's my first time on TikTok, and I was like, I saw that it was subscribe only, and so I was trying to figure out what to do, but thank you for the invite.
Of course. Welcome here, my friend. Welcome here. So this, everyone who's in the room, is my dear friend Michelle Marie from Astrological Tarot. And she and I met a long time ago now. I don't even know when. But we met, was about a year, half a year. I don't even know now. What was it, Michelle?
It was about a year ago, believe it or not. Yeah, I
Yeah,
found you on TikTok, and you found
yeah.
me, and we just connected. It was great.
Yeah, I've met a couple of beautiful people here on TikTok that have become real friends. And it's very nice to know that I can make friends like this and that they still be super meaningful to me. How about
Yeah,
you?
me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I This is how I basically got back into the community, was through Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, and yeah, I like you. I had worked in a shop and metaphysical clinics and all of that, and COVID really forced a lot of us to do everything online. So it's
Yeah.
actually expanded my network, and I got to meet fabulous people like you and
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
readings together and network. It's been a lot of fun.
So, can you tell us all a little bit about you? I don't know who knows about me, but I'm very curious. I'd like you to just give us a little quick little bio about Michelle.
Okay, well, my name is Michelle Marie. I am both a Western and Vedic astrologer. I've been studying Western astrology since I was 9 years old. Professionally, I've been doing it since 2001. Vedic astrology, I started that a little later in life. I began in 2017 at the start of my Saturn Mahadasha, which is a difficult period in my life. And it
Mm.
made me really dig deep astrologically to find out what was going on. And so I got into that. And so I've taken 3 years of professional courses through the Camilla Academy of Vedic Sciences. I'm in my fourth year this year, and I absolutely love it. I am also a tarot and oracle card reader. I am certified in that as well. I started taking classes and delving really deeply into it during my divorce in 2013, because when we're stressed out and undergoing a lot of traumas and um, just dealing with the yucky stuff in life, our intuitions, just mine at least, goes out the window. And so I needed my cards, I needed spirit, I needed help from my guides during that time. And they were really clear about what was going on and really helped me. And so I incorporated tarot into my practice, my astrology practice. So, and I found that they work really well together.
It's interesting because I was also talking to Tara Green, who will be on tomorrow night with me. And we were saying how we came at the things from different perspectives. Like I came at this, I mean, tarot was first and then I went to astrology. So I sort of see myself as a backyard astrologer.
Mhm.
And you went the other way. You started with astrology and then went to tarot. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
Yeah.
You're an awesome listener, Tamare.
Yeah, yeah. And also I noticed that like for me though, I have always been interested in the this realm. I mean seriously, my whole life. How
Hmm.
about you?
Are you talking about the realm of Earth?
Yeah, and really,
Hmm.
I remember sitting in a sandbox finding a grub, and I held it in my hand. It was see-through, those ones that you could see
Hmm.
through and that. And I remember holding it in my hand, and I remember realizing I was seeing the whole universe inside this being. I must have been 6. And
Wow.
I remember that connection with the earth that day. I have always been somehow mystified and aligned with the earth and the universe. And she speaks to me, and the sky speaks to me. I see the sky more as the mother, as the father, and the earth more as the mother. And in my native teachings, that's what I've learned too. So it's sort of, really, it's a really interesting connection when you really love the universe. And I really, really do love our world, and I care about it in a way that this is why I called you to help, because I know that we're in for a heck of a year.
Yes.
I know we are. And I want to do whatever we can do to make it easier. And having said that, A heck of a year doesn't mean an absolutely terrible year, but it sure means one that we will never forget. If you think you remember 2020 for COVID, wait till you realize what 2023 means to you personally. And this is going to be one hell of a good year for many. But honestly, I think the whole world's going to have a shakedown. What do you think? Tell me what you think. Let's get started.
Well, for us today, I'm just telling everybody I pulled the Be Candid card from the Whispers of Ganesh. So Tamara gives it to you real, so am I. And the reason we're candid is so that you can prepare for these events and you can do the spiritual remedies that are necessary to work through them. Okay, that's the big part of my practice is spiritual remedies, and I know it's a huge part of yours too, Tamara.
Yeah.
The main energy that we have going on right now is a full moon in Punavarsu. So in the Vedic calendar, and just to let you guys know, Vedic astrology goes by the sidereal calculation. So when I say Aries, Taurus, Cancer, etc., it's based on your sidereal sign. And if you're not sure what that is, subtract about 25 degrees, and that'll give you the sign. Like for instance, um, in Western astrology, I am a very beginning of Leo, but in Vedic astrology, I'm in the middle of Cancer. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind as I go. But anyways, Purnavarsu, it's a really amazing thing. You were talking about like you felt like you were here, and this was very you're very connected to the earth. Well, Purnavarsu struggles to be here a little bit. This is a Gemini kind of based energy, okay? And it emphasizes their ability to live and access multiple levels of manifestation while still in the human body. So they can travel to different astral planes of existence, especially in the dream world or in their daydreams. And their ability to transcend planes can cause a lot of restlessness. So if you guys are having dreams tonight where it's like, what was that? It's because this is kind of a restless full moon, and you might be receiving messages from the higher realms that aren't meant to uproot you, but rather to guide you here on the earthly plane. They're not here to uproot us. We exist on many different planes of manifestation, but we need to be grounded here because that's where the body is. This is where our lessons are taking place. Okay,
And this is
so
the wolf moon as
it
well.
is, it is.
And so that when we look at that, and it's in Cancer, this full moon, right?
Yes, it spans Gemini and Cancer in Vedic, but it's in Gemini in the Vedic calendar, and it's in Cancer.
So
And
how does that differ from the Cancer? Can you explain that for me?
well, basically, when it goes, because Purnavarsu goes through both Cancer and Gemini, because there are 27 nakshatras and there are 12 signs. So some can span more than one sign. And what that means is Punavarsus are highly spiritual because they're just coming out of another realm and they're making the earth their home. At the end of Punarvasu, when they enter Cancer, they're much more settled and they're able to create some roots, start family, connect with the earth. But at the beginning of Punavarsu, which is that more Gemini energy, they struggle to stay grounded here. And a lot of that is because they're still searching for their destination, where they feel like their home is. So a lot of people with Punavarsu and Gemini, they travel a lot, they experiment with a lot of things. Because settling down is pretty difficult, but they find their grounding by serving as a guide for other souls.
And
So by
with this,
connect,
with sorry, with this moon being in Cancer and or Gemini, and we look at it being also in the time of a retrograde, Mercury retrograde,
yes.
it would cause a whole lot of confusion about where to go, where to stay, who to talk to, who to trust, how to get out of energy. I could see it being a very very watery, very crybaby, very angry and crying all at the same time, and then flipping flopping back over to, okay, we got to talk this out, we got to communicate, we got to figure it out, and then back to the, oh my god, you make me so mad, and none of that kind of energy. I can feel it around me. So
Oh,
yeah,
indeed,
it's
Butterfly
happening.
says, making it a very emotional moon. Yes, this can be a very emotional moon. And a lot of that is because, you may feel disconnected from your celestial home and you can wander around quite a bit before you find your true earthly identity. So if you're not grounded here, the emotions take over and they
Yeah.
can kind of overpower you.
Yeah, and if you
Um,
have any Mercury predominant things, like I have Virgo in my ascendant, which is Mercury as well, you're going to feel it even more, and you're going to be drawn. You're going to go flip flopping. Hey Dee, by the
mhm.
way, thank you for the subscribe and thank you for joining us. We appreciate you here, my friend. Dee Garcia is also another psychic and witch friend of mine, just so
Oh,
you know. And I see your subscription. So nice, so nice. Thank you. And she just had a fire. Her husband
oh,
and her had a fire in their home, lost their kitties. And so she knows about the difficult times that we are all experiencing in some way or another right now. And
mhm.
I know it, I feel it. So please continue. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, basically, under this full moon, the things that you can do to ground yourself is to do your spiritual remedies, whatever
Yeah.
those may be, whatever practice that you follow, whether it's if you enjoy reading a spiritual text or you enjoy doing yoga asanas, or there's some breathing techniques that you can do to ground yourself. Anything to make you feel like you are connected to the earth can really help with this energy. Oh, and Deep Butterfly says, love you. She's so sweet.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, the name of this star means brilliant again. And you mentioned Mercury, Tamir, and your Mercury is in Punavarsu. So you have the ability, your Mercury, which is your throat chakra, has the ability to take things from other realms and bring them into the earthly realm as they need to
I
be.
do it all the time.
Yep. Yep. And my let's see, my Mars is in Punavar. So and Mars and Mercury are both retrograde right now. So
Yeah.
this has been a major time of reflection and review. And like I said, Mars is going to go direct on the 12th and Gemini on the 18th. So that's when we can start to feel a flip. But on those days, oh gosh, especially on the 12th, if you guys feel like your energy is just out the window, it's because Mars is basically stationary in the sky and he's not moving too quickly.
Which will also lend us to being very determined, to be very stubborn, to stand at our ground,
Mm-hmm.
even if some reason finds you, you still may not want to give it up or give it out. And so you really got to test yourself and say, is this me being whisked away by the planets, or is this
Mm-hmm.
me, excuse me, managing myself through the planetary energy? So I guess what. Oh, thank you, Dee. I guess what we're saying
Absolutely.
here is it's really important to manage yourself. Really important to stay stable. Thanks,
Mm-hmm.
Dee. And to, find solace in your home. You were saying that, to do the healing things that you can do and to stay grounded would be herbal teas as well, right? Herbal packs in your bed, in your tub, in your bath, these
Mm-hmm.
types of things. Let's see, writing, journaling,
Mm-hmm.
because we're talking about Mercury and communication and that kind of stuff. So yeah, there's a meditation. These are the things that will help calm that spirit that's not feeling so great at this
Mm-hmm.
time. So can we sort of jump into what's the climate for the whole year? What do you think the climate is for the whole year?
Well, we've got some big energies coming our way. Like I said, the main things this month that you're going to need to watch for is when Mercury goes direct, and that will be on the 18th. Don't do anything big on that day because wait for Mercury to speed up a little bit. Same thing with Mars on the 12th. Okay, don't try to do anything action oriented. Really watch where you're stepping, what you're doing, because Mars is very action oriented, and you got to watch where you're going, avoid accidents, things like that.
Mm.
Um, but the huge, huge energy is on January 17th. In the Vedic calendar, Saturn is going to be moving out of Capricorn, which gave us COVID, and into his sign of Aquarius. Now, in the Western calculator, this would be ruled by Uranus, which can represent upheavals, the collective, etc. And you and I were talking about this, Tamara. Revolution is coming.
I know,
You
I
can
know, I
feel it.
know, I know
I
it,
can feel it.
I know it.
Yeah. And
And
that's
I
what
was
Saturn in
talking to Tara
Aquarius
last
does.
night. I was talking to Tara last night, and then today, doesn't she post on her page that energy shifted and will be shifting hard over the next little while, and it's all related to what I've been saying, what I've been feeling, what I
Hmm.
what I predicted at the beginning of the year because I saw it. I
Yep.
saw the energy moving. I actually dreamt about it in 2020. 2021, I dreamt about it. So here we are. We see revolution energy coming in February. Energetically, I see it starting in the United States and moving into June for Canada. What do you think of that?
Well, that does fit the astrological sense of things, because Saturn in Aquarius is all about the collective. It's opposite Leo, which is all about the king, all about the people with money. It's like, those who own the gold. The golden rule is those who own the gold make the rules. Well, Saturn in Aquarius wants to push back against that. And this is when I think the collective is going to start really starting to stand up for themselves and push
Yeah.
back against the oppressors, so to
Yep.
speak, because that's what the Aquarian energy is all about. It's about rebellion. And,
Yeah.
it's, it depends on if you guys have any planets in Aquarius, you're especially going to be affected by this. He's going to be going directly over my moon in Aquarius. And so this strikes my heart. And what he's going to do is he is going to create a battle of egos in order to create change. And
Yep.
like you
Yep.
feel it's going to start in February. I mean, I agree with you. It's the
End of
spark is going to
February,
have.
March. End of February,
Hmm.
March. But I know that the thrust doesn't come right away. It's like
No.
all of a sudden it's in a wake. We wake up and everyone's like, oh no, no more. And
Yeah.
we're going to, small groups will see it first and then it'll turn up really high. We will all know in May that we're there.
Well, that's eclipse season. So we're going to have a couple of eclipses then. And eclipses, they reveal dark secrets. They bring out lights and truths. Like, for instance, we had an eclipse in Barani of the April and May of last year. And when Barani rules the womb and the reproductive system and the woman's body. The moment that came out in the United States, SCOTUS linked, they leaked all of those documents saying that they were going to overturn Roe v. Wade, and they did. So that's what eclipses do. They cause these major, major kind of secrets to come out, which then causes an upheaval. And then when we have the lunar eclipse, like, and those are usually October, November, they're in October this year and November. Let me look at the dates. No, actually, October 14th and October 28th. Those are when the resolutions start to come through.
Yes.
And the nodes are also going to move around that time as well. The nodes, the north nodes and the south nodes, which kind of change to direct the overall direction of the collective and what we're going to be focused on.
I
So
got
it's
some, I'm sorry, at the collective, I got some really weird, interesting energy coming up about the elites, especially those that
mm,
have been called out on pedophilia or any kind of swindling, any kind of weird stuff like the pedophilia and all that. Any of that weird stuff, we're going to peg a couple of people, elite people with lots of money.
mm-hmm,
So that's going to come out. I see it coming out, and that's going to affect. The reason I'm bringing it up is it's actually going to affect the whole of both our countries, especially your country.
mm,
And just so you know, Tara is in, excuse me, Michelle is in Seattle,
mm-hmm.
United States. So that's why I refer to your country that way. You're going to experience some of your elites being exposed, and rightfully, and not just
Yes.
there, but in let's say Britain, excuse me. That's another place I've noticed some exposure. That could be having to do with the monarchy, having to do with what's his name, Andrew, I think, one of the
Prince
men.
Andrew?
Yes,
Or,
Prince Andrew.
mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah,
He's going to have some splaining to do.
I agree.
Yeah.
Another really big thing that's coming is on April 19th, Jupiter goes into what's called Gandanta. And that means he's going from Pisces and into Aries. It's kind of like he's starting a whole new cycle for the collective.
Mm-hmm.
And in Aries, that could bring out some violence. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
just to warn everybody, especially because Rahu, which is the North Node, is going to be with Jupiter. And this creates something called a Guru Chandala Yoga. Now, just to give you an idea, the last time this happened was, and so basically the war between Jupiter and Rahu is on May 26th of this year. That's the peak. But we're going to feel this all the way from April through October. Okay, it's going to be a long time. So basically, what that the last time this basically happened, and I wrote some of these events down. The UK enacted Brexit. This was in 2016. The
I
last time we
remember
went through this
that.
energy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That left, and then they basically left the European Union, and it was not good for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
There was also demonetization in India, which put the country into a state of chaos because their money wasn't worth anything. Brazil and South Korea both impeached their presidents. There was a Syrian civil war that killed more than 500,000 people. Um, North Korea was carrying out nuclear missile tests directed at Japan. Russia was interfering with the United States election, and then Donald Trump was elected president.
Bam,
So, yeah, that
bam.
was a
So tell
lot of
me
intense
now,
energy.
what do you think's going to happen now? Like, which key areas are going to get hit? What do you think? With this energy, I
Um,
mean, what do you think could happen? I have a feeling that China is going to be called out. I have a feeling China's going to be called out for a bunch of things and made responsible. The thing I worry about with that, though, is if you make them too mad. China's a pretty powerful energy, and
yeah.
they have a very matter of fact. You mess with me, I'm messing with you back.
Hmm.
So I worry
Yeah.
about that, but I do see something happening with China. I also see, like I said, something in England, but not just because of the Andrew thing, but I think with the monarchy being pegged for and being called out for things, I think that puts the country in a bit of a spin as well.
Hmm. I
Hmm.
agree. And with Jupiter and Aries, I mean, Aries is ruled by Mars. And so I went to my Whispers of Ganesha and I got energetic movement. We're going to see a lot of energetic movement happening. A lot of things are going to be coming quickly, happening fast, because that's what the warrior likes to do. He likes to move, 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 go, 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 do, do, do. The only main issue that I see with that is, again, we are forming this Guru Chandala Yoga, which can make people, how do I say this without being political? It's the more right wing aspects tend to show their true colors. Like you said, they tend to just be more open and outward toward the collective and what they're doing. It's like they take they take wrong advice and they get outed.
Yeah.
And it can upset some people, but it could also it could cause some people to not not see the situation for what it is, if that makes any sense. Because that's what happened in 2016. There were a lot of people that were hoodwinked. So that's why it's important when Jupiter and the North Node form this conjunction, that we see our situation from as realistic of a perspective as possible so that we don't get sucked into the drama and we can see things for what they are.
This card popped up when I asked about the collective. And there's a couple of others I'll show you, but this may look like a little simple thing. But Possum tells us to look at everything opposite. So if
Mm-hmm.
you think it's going in this direction, stop yourself. Just stop yourself and turn around and look there, because the possibility of you missing something is very strong this year. And it's because we
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of really wise guys censoring, redirecting, creating all kinds of dramas all around us. So we're looking over there. But and it's true. I've seen it on certain posts people have made about, wait a minute, this could be a drama that's trying to take our attention away. That is actually happening. It actually is happening. They are creating circumstances that wow us and make us look that way. And in that, I think that we're going to be the lesson is to look at things opposite of what you normally do in this year especially, and to really take time out, pull yourself back, think it through. When in doubt,
Mm-hmm.
sit it out.
Oh yeah.
When in doubt, say nothing. And inaction is action if it's decided on,
Okay,
right?
well, you are spot on because I pulled the Ten of Air. This is the Ten of Swords for the type of energy we can expect. We're at the very end of a difficult situation. This is the rock bottom card. They've basically had enough. They've got nothing left to lose. They want to start
Yeah.
standing up for themselves. It says embrace the change, expect things to get better now, a recovery. So, I also think that this is just in the Vedic community. We've been talking about a recession coming.
Yes.
It's going to be a little different than the 2008 recession. And the reason we
Yes, it
say this
is.
is because in 2008, Saturn moved out of it was in the last few degrees of Cancer into Leo, and then he retrograded back, and then he came back into Leo. He's doing the same opposite. He's going came just toward the end degrees of Capricorn this summer. This was like April through July. And then he went retrograded back into Capricorn and he's going back into the very beginning of Aquarius this month. And my spiritual teacher and guru, she got a bunch of us together and we were talking about this. And we all came to the consensus that there will be like some kind of stagflation situation. The housing market's going to make some corrections because that's what happened last time. It's not going to look the same. But just as someone, this is I'm kind of knee deep in this because this takes place on my moon, so I'm experiencing this on a personal level. My husband and I tried to buy a house, for example. We have excellent credit. We have good money in the bank. We have great jobs, and they would not okay us. And we went to the banks and they're just like, yeah, we're just not okaying anybody right now. And it was so bizarre. So we went to our in-laws and they are really well off, like well off, and they're having trouble. So there's
Yeah.
something going on with the housing market, in my
Yeah.
opinion. I think that foreign agencies are starting to take it over. I don't know if you guys are
Yeah.
experiencing this in your cities, but they're building these
Totally.
giant
Totally.
apartment buildings filled with these like 400 to 500 square foot apartments. They're sucking out all of these single family homes, and they're basically trying to put us in these little cracker boxes and get it on both ends. And I read that both Wall Street and foreign shell companies are taking over our real estate market, and they're in cahoots with the banks to keep people from getting financed. And we're talking everybody, not just millennials, not just Gen Zers. There are people the boomers are having trouble getting like cash out refinances on homes that they owe nothing on.
Yeah.
Um, Things like
You're
that.
right.
So,
So what I have around that, just so you know, is what I have around that is that this is a time when families need to gather together, good
mm-hmm,
friends, good community members, and go at this situation together
mm-hmm,
as a group. So you can overcome some of the problems that are out there regarding housing, regarding property purchases, regarding business purchases, anything that um, because we are going into a recession, because we're literally slipping into a recession. And because of that, what we need to be doing is being really mindful and really careful. So we gather with our friends, gather with our families, with the community people that we feel confident with, and we take it
mm-hmm.
by storm that way. That's the only way we can do it. If you try to just keep on tripping through all of this troubled time on your own, you may lose money, you may lose steam, you may lose energy, you may lose confidence, you may lose your mind for goodness sakes, because you'll be working too hard too
Yep,
often. So I'm being told and stressed to work together with community, to work together with family, and to purchase and buy in. And I've heard people say, "Oh, never get involved in business with family." This is not a time to be thinking like that.
yep,
Okay. This is not a time for that. You need to start to use your instincts. Everyone has them. And what I stress is that you go center yourself and go inside your being and ask, is this going to work out? Like I've had some very interesting things happening to me, and my natural mistrusting ways has got in my way. And I've had to sit back and go, okay, why are you mistrusting? Well, because I feel this, and this. Okay. So I identify the things I'm feeling, and then I say, okay, what about those things can I not manage? Well, I can manage all of them, I decided. And what will be the benefits, and what will be the possible, rewards at the end of the day? And I've had to go through this checklist. And as I've done that, I realized that I am looking at a major change in my life, and so will everyone else. A major change in your life. It's uncomfortable to face change like that, but it's necessary at this time. So when I go inside and I look at the whole picture, I realize that this is destiny awakening in front of me. I'm at the
mm-hmm.
crossroads. Hecate's here. It's time to step forward, to step in, choose a path, choose a road, and not instead of being afraid, be willing to manage all of the complications and things that may come along, because they're better than sitting still and doing nothing.
I agree with you. I agree with you. That's excellent advice. And it does go along with that Aquarian energy, that Saturn and Aquarius. It's forcing us to come together as a collective and push back.
Mhm.
And the average Amazon employee is overworked, underpaid, and they're peeing in bottles in the United States. It's just
Wow.
terrible that the way these workers are treated. Um, but basically they're monitored where they go on the warehouse floor, and if they take a bathroom break or do this or do that, they get like checks, and they can have their pay cut into. I mean, it's crazy the way that these workers are being treated. And the way I think of it is, we would not have had Christmas or Thanksgiving or any of these major holidays in the United States this year without Amazon employees. Businesses
Yeah.
can't, they're not in
Isn't that the
business without
truth?
Amazon employees. If
Isn't
they
it?
sh- if they went on strike,
Thank
that would
you.
be the end. That would be the
Right?
end of packages. And I'm actually okay with that. I mean, supply chain wise, everybody stock up, get your stuff together.
Yeah.
But it's necessary. It's a necessary evil that needs to happen in order for people to start getting treated the way that they deserve to be treated. And
Hmm.
that's what that Aquarian energy is like. And it really speaks to my heart because my moon is in it. So
Right? And
I'm
and
all
it's
about
that,
the underdog.
yeah, and it's that taking that leap of faith. But
Yeah.
taking responsibility by going inside and feeling the situation out. And you got to sort of navigate it. You got to recognize nothing comes easy. I don't care what it
Yeah.
is. There's no guarantees anywhere. But you can, if you can center and feel the vibration and then sort of weigh out the odds and move forward, then this happens. And that's what this is about is, you're looking at all the different things that could possibly happen. And then you make a decision and you put yourself somewhere. You take your seed and you plant it and you
Yeah.
watch it grow and you fuel it and you nurture it and you love it, but you don't necessarily and this is the thing about money. I just want to say this because a lot of people will be facing this. The reason I'm saying it's best to collect with your and network with other people is you can help build each other up. It's just like you and I are doing right now.
Yeah.
These are
I
the
agree
things
with
that have
you.
to happen is working together, networking, not being afraid of scarcity, even though it's there. Even though it's there. So you can't go buy bread. So make it.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how, ask your friend how.
Yep.
And if you
You
don't have enough
really,
flour, ask them if they have some. And if you can't give them anything but your time, care for their child for an hour because they gave you all the stuff to make bread. These are the things we have to work with as a new world, this is the real new world order, is really knowing how to be in community. And even if you're on TikTok, you're still my tribe. You are still my tribe. Even if we don't live beside each other, these new things have to happen. And we have to know that we're all connected. China's connected to us. Russia's connected to us.
yep.
India's connected to us. We're all connected. And we have to find our way back to that if we're going to manage the next coming years. Because what I'm seeing here is the elites are going to get called out, small groups are going to form, more communities are going to come together, more opportunities going to come from that. Small pop-up businesses with pop mom and pop, they're going to do better than ever. And the more spiritual you are, and the more realistic your fees are, or your what would you call it? Um, the more realistic you are, the better. That's really all I can say. Realistic, but also hopeful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. What's really interesting is what they're trying to do, and this is my opinion to the generation that's coming out of high school and college now, is they're isolating them. They're building these tiny little apartment buildings, and they're egregiously expensive for how much people are making. Um, like just this is just an example. When I was in the early 2000s, I had a studio apartment, and all my utilities were included, and it was $400. I made $20 an hour as a nursing assistant in home. That same job now is $10 to $12 an hour, and that same exact studio apartment is $1,800. So,
And this is why you have to live with your friend now.
yep.
But I will have some good news about that. Okay? Those gouging landlords,
Hmm.
they're going to find themselves in trouble.
Well, that's where I think the recession is coming. Is
Yeah.
that's we're already experiencing it here. They upped
Yeah.
the rents in my area by $700 this year for a one bedroom, and people just left. They just
Yeah.
left. They were like, and these are Microsoft employees, these are Google employees, and they were just like, they're making okay money, and they went, but it's not enough, like
No.
to live here.
Well,
So
this card tells me that we will be experiencing a requirement to reduce our expenses, to create more things that we want, like making bread and growing your own food, by using herbs instead of allopathic medicine to help yourself
mm,
before you run to the doctor, by using old remedies, by using old ways, old known ways. That's what this is about. And recognizing there is a lot of competition out there. We do have a fair amount of competition out there, but if you just keep your, find your road, find your path, find your lane, and just stay in it. That's what I'm thinking we need to do, is find our lane and stay in it. And whatever that is, whatever your niche is, whatever your gift is in the world, or whatever you think you are good at in terms of producing, you need to find it. A lot of people are going to gather together in small groups and work together, live together, and do everything together. So I do see a lot of people coupling up. Okay. And some of it could be love affairs and relationships like that, like where real relationships are developed and love affairs are created. I see those people who are finding themselves in trouble financially really pulling together and creating solid, safe home and business. So I'm really happy to report that. That's a good thing. So I guess what I'm seeing as an overall is, yes, we're going to be facing some um, government oppression, government expectations that are difficult to meet, from taxes all the way up. Yeah, we're gonna be pissed off at our government. I guarantee those things are going to happen. But what is going to happen instead, even though that happens, what's going to happen is a more reliance on our neighbor, more reliance on our friends and on our families, and our relationships. And I think, if anything, if this nonsense with our government can bring us back together as community and be more realistic and more loving in our relationships, I'm happy to receive that. Because what I've seen recently on TikTok and Facebook, and people calling people out and hurting people, and that stuff, it's like, this is the end of it. What we're feeling right now is the end of it. January is like looking at 2022, and all the nonsense that was stirred up then is still here, and we're now going, wait a minute, we're not going into February with this nonsense. So
Mm-hmm.
I see the wiping our hands of people, of things that don't serve us, and us standing in our truth. And I do see our countries looking to take our countries back in a way where, the layman matters,
Mm-hmm.
and all people matter, all children matter. All of these kinds of things are, I think, coming out. The MMIW, I think, is going to be getting much more attention and money to be able to sort that out. And also, by the way, I'd like to point out that when they find out who's doing it, it will be sadly connected to groups that are hiding it. So it's a very similar energy as to the way the Catholics and the government got together with our residential people, and then they kind of hid it. And then we're just really seeing it now with social media and all really what happened. It's the same kind of thing that's happening with the MMIW. Exactly the same kind of thing. So it's like a government. So probably the pipelines are connected. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the pipelines are connected. And I'm not exactly sure. Pipelines, policing, these are the types of things I'm seeing here. And I don't think I'm alone in even knowing this, but I do think what I'm seeing is it's going to surface, and we're going to get somewhere with this. We're going to figure it out. So that's a good thing to report to everyone, that I think that's going to stir. We got a lot of interesting things like that that'll stir. So I see us going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, until we settle the energy into something that works for the majority as opposed to the minority, being the elites.
I
Hmm.
agree. Yeah. And the main dates that everyone needs to look for are the eclipses, because that's where the evil energy is going to be exposed.
Hmm.
Okay.
What dates are
It's
those?
important.
Let us know so we can put it in our
Yeah.
calendar
It's
and
also really
watch.
important, you guys, to look at where they occur in your chart, what house they occur in, what natal planets they're close to. And this year in the Vedic, they're occurring on the Aries Libra axis, and in October we go into the Virgo eclipses. So if you have any planets in these signs, practice caution. If your sun, moon, if your ascendant ruled by Mars, Venus, or Mercury, the eclipses will affect you personally. So that's just, we talked a little bit about this before the show. So the main dates are April 19th, 2023. We're going to experience a solar eclipse. This takes place in the nakshatra of Ashwini. Okay, the Ashwini Kumaras, like you mentioned, herbs, Tamir. These are the basically the Ayurvedic doctors to the Devas. Okay, they use basically the plants of the earth and things like that to provide cures. So you mentioned that this would be a time of going back to naturopaths, going back to our roots, going back to herbalists, etc. And that is supported by this energy. Now, the main reason I think this is going to happen is the secrets that are going to be revealed are different types of medications, things that they're putting in our food. I'm talking about the Food and Drug Administration. It's not a coincidence that it's food and drug because they make money off of us being sick. So we might find that there are maybe some metals or some bad chemicals that are coming out in our foods that are affecting children, I'm getting specifically. Um, there could be some issues regarding just health in general or where our foods are coming from, a lot of genetically modified stuff. And I really love that you said, start growing your own food. One thing that I would recommend, if you don't have a backyard, if you live in an apartment like I do, there are farm shares all over the United States, and I know in Canada as well, that you could sign up for. And every week you can sign up for this farm share. They can either deliver you a basket of fresh fruits and vegetables to your house, or you could go down and pick them up like my husband and I do. And it's organic, pesticide free, fresh, organic, local fruits and vegetables that you can start incorporating into your diet. And you can go on YouTube. You can, oh,
Whoops,
oh, we got a
sorry.
puppy situation.
I know my little girl. She's, what do you
Oh,
want, baby girl?
she's adding to the readings. Um, but yeah, so that's on April 19th. And then on May 5th, we are going to have a lunar eclipse in Vishaka Nakshatra. Now, this is the star of purpose. This is your lunar nakshatra, Tamir. So you are an extremely purposeful person. You are, and it's the power to achieve many things in life. And you have done that. I've heard your backstory, a lot of it, and it's very inspiring. So I think this is going to be a major turning point for the collective. They're going to start to find their purpose. They're going to start to dig their heels in and start to create change within their communities, like you were talking about. Now, the next solar eclipse is on October 14th, and that again is going to be in Chitra Nakshatra. Okay, Chitra is ruled by the celestial architect, and it's the star of opportunity. So this can bring forth a lot of interesting opportunities, and it's also the power to accumulate merit. Okay, so
Stop, stop.
that's some really good energy for the collective. It's all about design. It's all about skill. It's all about purpose, and it's just a really good star for chipping away some of the dark things that are going on in the collective and revealing the truth, the light. And then the last one is also in Ashwini Nakshatra. Okay, it's a lunar eclipse, and it's going to be with the North Node, Jupiter, Uranus, and it's going to be opposite the Sun in Libra, which is Swati, Mars, Mercury, Ketu, Mandi, and Galuga. This is the big one. Big one. Something huge is going to be revealed on October 28th. A lot of secrets are going to come out. The last time we had a major eclipse that involved a bunch of planets was in December of 2019. And that was the start of Corona. So it was ruled by Mula, which is Nirti, the goddess of destruction, and we all predicted that like some people were saying, oh, major climate events are going to happen. They did. Other Vedic astrologers were saying there might be some kind of a plague or a major health event in the world, and there was. Another person said, this could be a time of civil unrest, and we had major civil unrest throughout the world. So that was that energy. This energy is a little different. The Ashwini Kumaras are all about their physicians. So this is going to be something health related that's going to change the way that we eat, change the way that we view medicine. And it's the power to quickly heal and reach desires. So this could be a really good movement for herbalists, for naturopaths, for Ayurvedic specialists and technicians to really step up and start helping people with the diseases and illnesses that were caused by the foods that we're eating that aren't so clean. And
I
the
heard
drug.
something that goes with that.
Mm-hmm.
I watched a movie years ago, and it was in there called um, what was it called? Elysium or something. What was it about? It was about the world basically not being safe to live on, and they had to create a world outside of the world, and all the elites went to that world, and all the people that didn't have money stayed on Earth. Anyways, on the new world, I think it's called Elysium. and it was in the new world that they created where the elites lived. They had some sort of medic bed where you would lay down, and whatever you was ailing you, you would be repaired by this bed. It would just
Hmm.
do whatever it did, and by the time you had your moment on it, you'd get up and you're healed. So what you just said to me reminded me of this.
That's very
I
galactic.
I know, and it's
So you
kind of
think that we
crazy.
might have some new technologies come out that aren't from
Yeah.
Earth, is what you're
I,
saying.
I think that we are going to have some new technology, and I
Okay.
think there will be. Many years ago, I predicted something, and it hasn't come true. So I'll tell you what it was. And
Okay.
and I saw this happening in an Asian country first. I don't know. I get these downloads. So, anyways,
Hmm.
somebody was walking by. They open up this door. They go in. They're outside in a busy city. This is what my vision was. They go. Looks like a telephone booth, only it's round. And they open the door. They go inside. It's a cylinder, right? They go inside, and there's this thing that they pull down and put over their head. It looks like some weird thing with a bunch of wires and everything on it. And they put coins inside this thing, and it what it does is I called it the brain gym,
Hmm.
because what it did was it energized the individual. So it would be like lineups to go to it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon for people who had to work until 6, right? So they'd come out there,
Mm.
get their coffee and their muffin, and they or whatever, and then they go and put this little thing on and zap their brain and feel all energized again. So yeah,
Hmm.
I'm not sure that that's happening this year, but it will happen. And some of you who are in this room will know it way whenever it happens. And you'll go, that woman, Tamara White-Wolf, she's the one who said that was going to happen. And
There
I
you
do think it
go.
will. So I think that what we're seeing here is not only just taking back our power and doing herbal remedies and that, eating properly and other unique ways of healing will likely come to the surface through our medical sources and unusual medical things, such as maybe a medic bed, maybe a brain gym.
Oh my goodness, that's interesting that you said that. It kind of reminds me of like a cryo chamber that they have now. They have the little they have they put you in a tube and they can. I haven't done cryotherapy, but it's a new therapy that came out
I
a
don't
few
know
years
this
ago that
one.
people are using. Yeah, basically they use the power of cold to heal you, and so it's been there for a bit. Um, and brain mapping has also made a lot of shifts in the last year because many countries are focused on AI right now and developing AI, and they're using human brain mapping to achieve that. So when you said the little probes, and that's what I thought of. It was really interesting because our thoughts can heal, and if we can find a way to track the thoughts in a way that could heal the body, that would be so interesting, wouldn't it?
Right? I don't know how this is working. Is this working? I'm trying to get your face to go beside my face. I'm